If you're looking to sell more of your services, digital products, courses without having to juggle a million tools or hire a dedicated tech team, this video is for you. Today, we're diving into Go High Level, a platform that lets you build funnels, automate your emails, schedule DMs, publish content, book appointments, send invoices, and so much more all in one tool. And for those of you who are familiar with High Level, I'm also going to show you how I use it differently than most people, because here's the thing. Most people think that you either have to move everything over to Go High Level, your entire tool stack, or you can't use the tool at all, and that is simply not true. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can use Go High Level your way, whether you're looking for an all-in-one solution to manage all the things in your business, or like me, you're just looking to leverage its more sophisticated features to plug into your existing tool stack. There's going to be something for you in this video. So let's jump behind the scenes. I'm going to show you the dashboard and all the features, but before I do, this video is made in partnership with Go High Level. I'm also an affiliate, and there's going to be a link in the description box that you can use to have an extended 30-day trial. Plus, you're going to get my bonus snapshot, which is essentially a pre-built template inside of High Level that you can copy with my favorite automations so that you don't have to start the tool from scratch. And then in my bonus pack, you're also going to get 3 of my favorite replays from inside our group coaching program that are going to help you level up your business with content that actually converts so that you're not just using tools, but you also have a clear strategy. Okay, cool. So let's explore the features. But as with every tool on our channel, we only talk about tools that we genuinely love, that we actively use, that we recommend to clients. Go High Level did not tell me what to say, nor were they allowed to review this video before it got published. So everything I'm going to share with you today are my real, raw thoughts. I'm going to tell you what I love about the tool, and I'm also going to be brutally honest with what I don't love so that you can make the right decision for you. All right, so here we are behind the scenes in my Go High Level demo account, and this is the dashboard. Now, once you actually have some data in here and you're actually building funnels or you're adding your contacts, you're going to be able to see quite a bit of data with your conversion rates, as well as some of the funnel analytics that you might want to be tracking in your business to see like what's happening behind the scenes. How many leads are you getting? How many sales are you getting? This is all really valuable information. But if you're just getting started with this tool, I highly recommend starting over at the Launchpad. This is where you're actually going to be able to connect a lot of the features that are going to make High Level more usable for your business. So whether that's installing the mobile app, if you have a Google business profile within your CRM, this is where you can connect it. You can also add in any kind of connection from Facebook so that you can plug in like Facebook Messenger requests, a lot of the conversations that happen on that tool, and pull it all into Go High Level. So you're not having to like check your Instagram DMs or check Facebook Messenger or check email all separately. It's all going to bring those conversations into one place. If you also use lead generation through your website, a web chat app widget is super cool because now, again, you're bringing in more of those conversations into a single place. And then finally, if you're using WhatsApp, for those of you who are international clients, you can also integrate WhatsApp right here. WhatsApp. I think that's how you say it. Then you want to link up your Stripe if you already have an existing Stripe, or you can sign up with a Stripe account to be able to collect payments in your Go High Level account. And then finally, you have your WordPress site. You can, if you already have an existing WordPress site, you can actually move it over to their hosting, and also you can add team members. So that's going to give you all of the basic functionality to make your account usable, and so it's not super confusing. Now, you've already given High Level a try and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so many tools, so many features. I don't know where to start. I am super lost. Don't worry. I totally understand, especially as a tool nerd. But one of the things that I think is so important is knowing that any tool that you use is going to have a learning curve. So don't be afraid to like dip your toe in the water, get your hands dirty, because it's so worth it. When you do understand the basic concepts and the basic features, it becomes a really powerful tool in your toolkit. It doesn't mean that you have to use every single feature, which I don't use every single feature. Most of our clients don't use every single feature, but they use the features that are most helpful, most powerful for their specific setup, the way that they sell, the way that they market, and that makes the biggest difference. So I want to encourage you to not feel like you have to master and dominate everything all at once. Get your hands dirty, look at these basic features that I'm going to show you today, and then you'll feel a little bit more confident as you're using the tool. Okay, now to my favorite place, the marketing tab. I love the social media planner. And y'all know that I am very picky about my social media planners. I've used CoSchedule and some other tools for a really long time. I still love them, still recommend them if they have special features that you prefer, but I love being able to schedule content directly into my CRM. And so this is something that is super powerful on High Level. I'm actually super impressed with this. So you can click on new post. I have these 2 demo posts that I published inside of this account just to kind of show you, but really you just go here and to the create post section. And what is awesome about this is once you connect all your social media accounts, you can actually manage Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest and YouTube from there, which is so cool. Now, if I go to Instagram, something I'm very impressed with that not a lot of tools still have is the fact that you can actually schedule reels inside of this platform. When you go here to the bottom screen, you can choose to have a feed post, a reel, or even schedule an Instagram story, which is super neat. Now, really important here, there are some limitations, not with the reels, but with the stories. I'm going to show you that in a second. But let's say that we're selecting a reel. I'm going to go ahead and select a video that I have already uploaded to my reels folder. And then I'm going to select that. It's going to start uploading it and show me a preview right here, which is so freaking cool. From there, I'm going to write my captions. I'm going to write my caption right here, right? Maybe insert an emoji or 2 because we got to work the emojis. And then from there, I love that it allows you to do a follow-up comment as well. So I can add my follow-up comment, boom. And there's also some advanced options here where you can select some tags so that you can easily pull this video and post it again. But for now, this is great. You can invite collaborators by entering their Instagram username here. And so I will do, hey CMH for this one, for example, because he's on this video clip from our podcast. And then from there, I'm going to click right here on the reel itself and add a custom thumbnail. Now I already have a thumbnail that I uploaded from Canva right here. I'm going to select it and insert it in this media library. And now it's going to be set up and ready to go, which I loved. I loved how simple this was. I loved that it published it directly natively for me without having to download the app, like copy it and then do it on my phone. It's like, no, it's done, ready to go. Now it also has a story capacity. And with stories though, it does have some limitations in terms of what you can add to the actual story. So I'm going to say that I'm going to do an image, right? And also, by the way, you can use AI to create images. I still think, again, no, not very good at all. We can test this out in a separate video. If you're interested in a full walkthrough of all the content features, let me know in the comments, by the way. But for now, let's say that I'm going to post, let me do this picture here. It does have the ability of adding like text overlays on your story, which I'm going to show you in a second, but it's not yet as good as what you can do, natively inside of the Instagram app, which is understandable. I think that like the features alone are fantastic. And that's not me just saying that. I think it's very cute. So if you go here to edit, you can actually edit this picture before you post it to stories, and you can crop it, right, to fit the 9:16 ratio so that it actually fits perfectly in the story. You can also come here and add some filters, which is pretty awesome, by the way, because I don't know of another scheduler that does this from a desktop app this well. This is really cool. So adjustments, you can also add that text overlay that I talked about. So we could do like, Throwback Thursday. I'm totally dating myself with Throwback Thursday. But this is a picture of my brother-in-law's puppy, and he was spending the day with me at the office. It's really cool. Anyway, so that's what the text looks like. Like I can actually go back here and change the background color so that it actually flows a little bit better, like you could see a little better, and then maybe I change this to white, but you kind of get the picture, right? You can do a lot with this tool in terms of publishing, and if you are cool with having it, be this way, you can publish directly to stories, which is, it's pretty awesome to be able to have. Now you have emojis here too that you can add. You also have a couple of shapes, a brush if you want to draw on it. So lots of really cool features that honestly I have not seen from a desktop scheduler in a long time. Okay, so now I'm going to add this to my folder. I should have an Instagram story folder, but you can save those photos in that media library and use them over and over again, which is super cool. So again, all of that is in that initial content publisher, and then you can click here to post, or you can also schedule. Now, another cool feature is the schedule recurring posts. So you could actually have posts that go out multiple times. I highly recommend that as part of your content strategy. If you do it sparingly and wisely, it can actually work really well. So let's go back here to the marketing tab. And this is also where you're going to be sending emails and managing a lot of the communication for your business. Of course, we're marketing, we got to send emails, we got to send campaigns, text messages, all that good stuff. Now, this is all sample data, but you'll see here like, okay, this is how many of your emails got delivered, opened, clicked, ordered. There's also like performance analysis, subscribers, bounce, open rate, all of that good stuff, which is super nice to see. But as you go here, this is how you will create a campaign. You can start a blank email, use the marketing templates, or use your own templates. Now, they have a ton of different marketing templates for emails. Personally, I like writing plain text emails, and their plain text editor is not it. Like, I think it needs a lot of work. I love using the plain text editor on tools like ConvertKit and Beehive much better. So that is definitely something that I think they need to work on a lot. But if you already send more visual emails, there's so many gorgeous templates that are already pre-made. Like, for example, let's look at a couple. They have beauty and fashion, business and consulting. So these are all very specific to that individual industry. And I think they're gorgeously designed and really well put together so that you're basically just plugging in and changing colors and fonts and the content, and basically the email template is already done. Let's take a look at business coaching and consulting here. So we can see this is more like my style of email. If I was going to use their email builder, I would use something really simple like this. I am, again, that plain text girl, so I don't like having a ton of images. I think it hurts your delivery, and email is like my main communication channel, so I protect it at all costs. However, I will say, their delivery rates are amazing, and it's very hard. It's very rare to see that, and it's definitely a place where High Level shines. So again, this is the blank email template. Let me show you what I mean. If you go to blank email, you can design it with the editor, which is what I would recommend if you want to start from scratch. But if you want to use a plain text editor, it's pretty limited. Not my favorite. Definitely, I would use the designed template. So super bare bones, right? You can't insert images, you got to add them through a URL. That, to me, super annoying. Not how I want to send emails. So if you are going to send emails, make sure that you're using their designer. Even if you start from a blank template, use the design editor, because then that is going to allow you to like drop and drag different elements into the email and customize it totally to your look and style. So you can see here, you could drag and drop images really simply, make it super simple. You could have your logo up top and kind of design it as you would like. So the possibilities are truly endless. There's a video like we often do. You can add it right there. So that is how I would use it. I would actually use the design editor if you, like me, like sending more basic emails that are not super overly curated. Now, you're also going to find some of your workflow campaigns. We'll go into that a little bit when we look at the automations, but some of the other marketing features are your snippets, which we already talked about, your countdown timers if you want to create this for a funnel. You can also have trigger links, which is awesome because when someone clicks a link, it triggers a particular action. Affiliate manager, if you run an affiliate program like we do, this is where you can add all of the information, have campaigns, track conversions, send affiliate links to all your affiliates. You can even look at how to process payouts, which is pretty awesome. You also have some brand boards, and this is a new feature as you can see here, but this is where you can totally stylize everything that you use inside of High Level with your own brand colors, your logos, your fonts, this kind of thing. Kind of like ConvertKit, where it actually has a design kit inside. This is really cool so that you don't have to keep copying colors and copying fonts. And then the ads manager is also here. Now, if you're running Facebook ads and you want to have all that data in one place and manage campaigns directly through High Level, that's also possible, which is pretty cool. Now, it is an extra cost of $29 a month, but I do think if that's something that you use a lot like we do, it might be worth the investment. If you don't use ads, don't worry about this. You don't even have to think about it, but knowing that it's a feature is kind of nice. Now let's take a look at the price point, because I find this to be one of the most appealing parts about this tool. With the starter plan, it's $97 a month, and you get all the tools to capture more leads, nurture and close leads, and then full online booking, pipelines, social media calendar, website builder, and more. You get unlimited contacts and users so that you can add as many people on your team as you need, as well as set up to 3 step accounts. So if you have like multiple projects or multiple businesses like we're about to launch, this is a really amazing deal. Now, for the $297 plan, that's the unlimited, you get everything in the starter plan, plus you get this API access, which is great if you want to integrate with more tools outside of the High Level ecosystem. Now, it also has unlimited sub accounts, so you can add as many client accounts. This is perfect if you're an agency, and you also get a branded desktop and custom domain control over everything in terms of the look and feel. Now, very few of you are going to need this $297 unlimited plan. I would start with the starter plan, and if it doesn't have everything that you need, then you can always upgrade. But for the most part, I think the only people who are going to need unlimited is, again, if you're doing custom integrations or you're doing a lot of complicated tech stuff that requires that API access, then $297 is fantastic, as well as for those of you who have agencies and you want to onboard unlimited amount of clients, which is amazing. Now, I think from a very objective perspective, this is incredible pricing. Here's why. I would have given so much when I first started my business to have access to these many tools, especially when it comes to the automations part. For me, that's what I look at. Because we're online businesses, we need to leverage automations. You are building an email list. That's how you're going to get the majority of your clients and customers. And as such, you want to be able to follow up with them and send them, special things on their birthday or unlock bonuses, or be able to send them really great automations via SMS. That functionality alone for someone like me is more than worth it, especially when you compare it with other tools like ActiveCampaign or HubSpot or Keep, who are unbelievably expensive. I mentioned that we had migrated to Keep a couple years ago as an experiment for a whole year. And not only was it a terrible experience, the cost was absolutely bananas. So if you look here at Keep's pricing, for example, for 2 users, the base monthly price is $299, and it doesn't have a fraction of the tools that High Level has, like, for example, the community aspect, the course builder. A lot of this is kind of bare bones automations and marketing. It's a great tool for the people who it makes sense for them, but not for me. It was not a good experience, and it was unbelievably expensive. So for us, we have over 40,000 contacts. So the price point is you got to have a conversation with them. Even at 26,000, it's $719 a month. So you could see here what we're talking about in terms of price comparison just for that automations feature, which tends to be one of the most expensive things in the online space to get access to. Now, you can go and look at comparisons for ActiveCampaign and HubSpot, but you're going to see similar price points across the board for those tools as well. So surely from the pricing standpoint, I think High Level just absolutely demolishes, especially if you're just getting started in your online business or you're wanting to migrate to an all-in-one tool that will grow as you grow. I think the price point alone is unbelievably appealing, again, for all of the individual features that you get with this tool. And you can go and compare these on their homepage if you have questions about, does it have this feature? Does it have this feature? As well as some of the tools that it compares to. All right, so switching gears here to automation. This is one of my favorite features inside of High Level because you can do so much with marketing. Now, inside of our snapshot, again, if you purchase High Level, you try it out through our link, you're actually going to see here all of our custom automations that we have pre-built for you inside of the app. So things like cart abandonment, for example. Let's say that you have someone who hits your cart and doesn't buy. You want to be able to trigger an automation that reminds them to come back and actually purchase from you. All right, so this is a cart abandonment automation. And so let's say that you have someone hit your cart but not buy. You want to be able to trigger an email and maybe even a text message. So the way that you do that is you can set up an automation like this, set up triggers for your specific checkout or a particular tag if you're using an external checkout page. Like for example, we use Samcart. This can be an amazing way of recovering the sale, and you can absolutely customize it however you'd like. We've just set up some placeholder copy for you, but basically you would have the product image here and say, hey, it looks like you left something important behind in the cart. Here's, and then you can insert a coupon if that makes sense for you. If not, you can just send them right to the link. Here's a 10% coupon that expires tonight at midnight just for you. I've already applied it to your cart. Insert the link here. Let me type that in case that wasn't obvious. Can't wait to see you inside. Insert your product so you can finally, and then insert the benefit, right? So for us, it was like, hey, can't wait to see you inside a content club so you can finally be consistent with your content and not have to spend a ton of time creating individual posts. Do it now while it's on your mind. Cheers, and then your name. So that's just one example of how you can build automations that really encourage sales, encourage leads, encourage conversations that impact your bottom line. And so let me just cancel here and click Save Action. And so there's tons of different workflows. Say, for example, that you're onboarding a client, you can create a workflow for that. You can deliver a lead magnet and then pitch people on also watching your free workshop or your paid workshop. You can save the sale here with someone who leaves your sales page, or you can have someone register for your webinar. What's really cool is these snapshots are modeled from our own automations. And so you can save them and plug them into your business, or you can also go in here, you can click on workflow and select a recipe. And there's tons of automations that are already done for you. So you're not having to start from scratch. That's actually super cool. For example, Facebook comments to workflow AI, or recipe of Facebook comment automation. You can also go in here and recover abandoned carts with 2 emails, lead nurturing using ChatGPT history, import from a different campaign. You can start from scratch. So many different ones that are already kind of done for you here. And so for example, let's say that I create this one right here. You're going to see it's going to load essentially all the infrastructure for you. And then all you have to do is just customize it to your own business workflow. What's really cool too is you can add any steps in between. So all of these actions are available to you. For example, you can create a contact, find a contact, update the contact field, remove user, add user, edit a conversation. You can communicate with them, right? So send a Slack message, send an SMS, send an email, a call, leave a voicemail, Messenger, Instagram DM, manual actions here. So many different things that you could do just as an automation in any part of your workflow, which is so neat. And so really the opportunities are endless. So I want to pause right here because I think automations are one of the most powerful features inside of High Level. And if you already have a tool stack that you love, but you don't have strong automations, this is the perfect use case. For us, we love being able to use powerful automations and plug those into our existing tool stack. And so to me, it's crazy that High Level will have this level of powerful automations at this price point, because it wasn't 2 years ago we actually needed more powerful automations, switched over to an all-in-one tool that was very fancy schmancy, spent over $700 a month just to access basic automations, and it didn't have a fraction of the features that High Level has. So yes, High Level can be a little bit overwhelming because it has a lot of features, but it's also its most powerful strength, because at the cost, you really cannot ask for a better tool. Now, that's not me overselling you on something that I don't believe in. I actually think that this is a very, very big strength of the tool, and one of the reasons that we're using it for launching all of our new businesses and also plugging it into our existing one. It's also a place that will save you so much money, because if you look here at their comparison chart and what the cost for all these tools actually is, when we go to workflow and automations, $169 a month is basic starter packages, especially for something like ActiveCampaign or HubSpot or Keep. These tools are really expensive. We used Keep and it was not just just a terrible experience, but the cost was absolutely incredible for the features that it had. And so I highly recommend, if automations are something that you are really into or that you see yourself being able to leverage, this right here would be the reason that I would choose a tool like High Level, because it gives you so many features at a very inexpensive cost, not to mention all the other things that you have access to, like the CRM, the sales funnels, the website builder, the surveys and forums, the email marketing, which, by the way, was a huge disappointment because when we were using Keep, you could only do one-way SMS. They might have changed that now, but it was so disappointing because we were used to being able to have people respond back to our marketing campaigns and engage with them. And so that was impossible. We had to have another tool that was able to do that, and it just was a huge bummer. All right, so let's take a look at the funnels tab. So essentially, Go High Level lets you build funnels very similar to what ClickFunnels lets you do within their own app, and you can host them all in there. I want to show you this one that we have pre-built for you guys as part of our snapshots. So again, if you sign up through our affiliate link for that 30-day expanded trial plus our snapshot and trainings, this is part of what we have designed for you. And so essentially, if you are wanting to have an ebook and you want to host that ebook, you want to be able to deliver it to people, and you don't want to build this out separately on your own website like we do, Go High Level does have the ability to build this within their app. And so what's really cool is it's drag and drop. This is kind of like the example of what we've designed for you guys. So let's just fill it out so you can see what it looks like. Click download now. And then this is the thank you page with a little prompt to purchase a paid product. So this is essentially all pre-built inside of our snapshot for you. And then when you go over here to funnels, you'll see it copied over on your snapshot page. Look out for the business launch lead magnet funnel for coaches, course creators, service providers, and online businesses. And then from there, you can just start editing the actual page and customize it completely for your own business. So they have this really easy to use drag and drop builder so that you can move elements wherever you want. You can drag them to different places on the page if you wanted to do that. Of course, that doesn't make sense, but I just wanted to show you as an example and just make it completely your own. Now, what's really cool too is, let me zoom you guys out just a tad so you can see the full menu, but right up here, you can see the different steps in the funnel. So you can edit each individual page, and that's actually super cool. You can also see here, what it looks like on mobile versus desktop, and you can switch and toggle between the pages just by clicking right here, which is super nice. Now, heading back to the actual pre-built funnels feature, you do have the ability of organizing your funnels into folders. You can create a new funnel from a blank page. You can use the funnel AI, which is really interesting. For me, this did not work out as well as I would want it to. It's still, again, just the AI features in High Level in general are not where they need to be just yet. You can tell it's something that they're building out and integrating, which I appreciate it, but it's not their forte. And I still think that I would start off from a template before I play around with funnel AI. This might change very soon, but at least for right now, my tests were like, not really very good. The copy was okay. The colors were okay. I mean, the layout was fine, but everything else was just kind of like a bummer. So they have a bunch of pre-designed templates. Now, keep in mind, a lot of these are more so on the website side of things. If you look at here with like newsletter signups, there are quite a few, but none that I'm like overly impressed with. Like, they have the entire funnel. It's like, no, they don't really, but the ones that are here are really nice as starting points. So for example, this one kind of reads as, funnel template. This reads more like a website page than a true registration, but there is this one, for example, like this is for a webinar, and that's pretty built out, which is really nice, more of like the online space kind of thing, right? So if you're planning to build full-blown funnels, I would definitely get acquainted with the drag and drop builder, because you will be needing to at least create some of these pages on your own. I like this one. Let's see this one. Okay, I actually really like this landing page. This is super cute, and it kind of is reading a little bit like a mini sales page, which I am not Yeah, it is a sales page. I'm okay with. A lot of times now we're shifting into having lead magnets really be paid, and lots of people are using that as a strategy. I am super here for it. We're doing that a lot with our like paid workshops and paid trainings and paid 3-day masterminds so that we're actually attracting more paid clients and customers. So that's just a little tip. I really like the fact that they have templates at all. That's super cool. But again, just brutal honesty here, you will need to customize these pretty heavily, especially if you're planning on building a lot of complex funnels with a ton of upsells and downsells and that kind of thing. All right, so now let's go to the website builder. Now, I do not recommend using this feature as your forever website. There's definitely a place where I think that you can get started with a website that's easy, that's simple if you just need to get something up there. But what I do recommend is having your WordPress website set up and then potentially hosting it with High Level. That way, there might be some more analytic overlap and you can actually see all that's happening behind the scenes on your WordPress website. Now, they do offer this as an extra add-on, and I can't believe how inexpensive this is. It's actually not bad at all. So for example, we actively pay $200 just for our hosting. We do have a lot more traffic than, when we first got started, but also we have an app that we're hosting. And so the costs definitely add up. If you just host with WordPress in here, I think that's an amazing solution for having your standalone website and then being able to just keep your website separate, but still connected to your CRM. But if you really just need something to get out there, they have a lot of beautiful templates. And so again, if you just needed to have something up and running, they have these really nice templates, all kinds of different businesses. Of course, we talk to coaches and course creators the most on this channel. So you could see here, these are really pretty and already styled and ready to go, which is super nice when you're launching a new business and you just need to have a website presence that is simple and easy to customize. Let's say that I want to use this template. They have this super easy to use drag and drop builder where you can add any sections that you might want, any elements, and just customize it for your own business, make it really you. So definitely a great beginner feature. Now, there's also client portals, there's blogs, analytics, webinars, stores. You can have forms and surveys and quizzes and your chat widget. We don't have time to go into every single one of these features, but know that they're there and it's cool to kind of play around with and explore. Now, to the thing that a lot of people have questions about, and is, can you host your courses and your membership inside of High Level? Yes, you can. So basically, they have a platform similar to School, and I actually think it's really powerful to be able to have this all in one, especially because that allows you to kind of give people access to different things and look in your contacts to see, who's purchased what and who has what level of access inside of your platform. Normally, most of the all-in-one CRMs that have a membership or a course builder are really limited, but I very much appreciate all the features that High Level has in here. Now, we have clients that absolutely love what is all included and all the features that they have. And then we have other clients who are like, they don't use this section at all because they're using Mighty Networks or School or a different service. And so they just prefer to stack High Level into their tool stack with different features like the automations and the CRM and all that good stuff. That's perfectly fine. Just depends on what fits your needs. But I think for someone who already has an established membership or course, this is an amazing platform because it does give you so much control. All right, so let's take a look at the courses so you can see what is all included in the dashboard, how to set this up. It's super simple. It does give you the ability also to create a branded app that is a separate charge if you want a full-blown app, but it's pretty nice to be able to have that, especially because if you look at other services, our app is expensive. To be able to build our app, we've poured tens of thousands of dollars into our custom app. And if we were starting a business, we wouldn't, incur that expense because you have options like High Level that give you so much control and so many cool things. So this is basically how you would customize your courses. In this case, I'm just showing you the membership demo. And so you could, name it Marketing Mastery or whatever you'd like and have all the different customizations here. for making it very specific to your business. I also think it's so cool to be able to look at the training outline and being able to say, okay, so these are the modules, these are the individual lessons, this is maybe some bonus content, these are the resources. If you want to be able to create, anything extra, you can always edit and add onto it, which is really nice. And so really easy to set up your videos. I actually loaded one here as a test demo for you guys for our own business. You could see kind of like the behind the scenes of what that looks like. And then you can change the thumbnail. You can also add titles here, descriptions to each lesson. And so, like, for example, on school, you don't have video hosting natively. You have to host your videos on Vimeo or host your videos on YouTube. With High Level, as far as I understand, you're hosting all the content inside the platform, which is pretty crazy for the cost. So again, that's kind of how the courses work. You can also look at individual products in here, which is really nice, and some special offers, analytics, all the settings. But I personally am very impressed with the way that this is laid out. There's also communities and groups. For creating a community, this is just the bare bones demo. I want to show you what it looks like behind the scenes. And so this is basically where you can organize a ton of different discussions. This is where the individual members will post content, and they can post GIFs and images and videos, emojis, all that good stuff. You can also organize the discussions into different channels, kind of like Slack. So marketing ideas and announcements, for example. There's also here all the different courses that you can set up in the community or in your membership. You can see all your members here, events. You also have a leaderboard and your about, so that you can easily show people what your community looks like, which is really cool to have all those features inside of just one section. There's also certificates and then marketplace, which is new. We're not going to get into all of that because we don't got the time. Okay, let's jump into the next section, which is conversations. This is probably one of my favorite things about Go High Level, because as someone who has a lot of marketing channels and has communication across social media, SMS, email, our web chat. It's a lot of channels to answer questions for people, both from the customer service perspective as well as from the marketing perspective. And so our team has to answer things on all over, just multiple platforms. This makes it super easy because it actually puts everything into one place. So this is where you're going to see those conversations come up as you get more chat messages, as you get more of that conversation started. You're going to see that in this area. Now, snippets are also a really cool way to make conversation super simple. One of the things that I like is being able to go here and also organize your conversation. So let's say that this is customer service versus marketing, right? And what my team can do here is they can actually add a snippet, whether it's text or email, and this is going to be a saved conversation. So let's say that someone is asking for help with logging in, right? Logging in. I can actually create a message that is a template that I can send to anyone who has this, common problem. I'm going to say, hey, happy to help. Here's how you can reset your password, for example. And then I'm going to insert a link here to a tutorial, right? Let me know if that worked for you. I'll be standing by in case you still need help. All the best, the TBL team. Okay, awesome. So now we are saving that. And what happens is if you find yourself having these recurring conversations with either customer support or any sales questions that people have, this is where you can actually save those snippets and insert them into your conversations. So you can see here, these are my saved snippets. And anytime I want to be able to pull that conversation again, not have to repeat myself in messages, this is a super handy thing to have. Next up, let's talk about calendars. And if you use Calendly to book any kind of appointment in your business, whether it's sales calls or you're doing live trainings or anything like that, this is a really awesome feature that we're going to start using even more in our business. So here's your calendar view, and you can actually go and toggle between users to see what everyone's schedule looks like. You can also see an appointment list view for those of you who, again, have a lot of appointments. This is super clutch. And one of the things that I really like about this whole feature is that people can actually book just like on Calendly in a super simple way. So if you navigate up here to calendar settings, you can actually set up your first calendar, and you'll see here that mine is our TBL calendar, and you'll see it right under here. We've already set that up. This is for our VIP bonus calendar, and we do a lot of bonus coaching calls as well as strategy calls and VIP days for our group coaching program. And so we use this calendar, and it's super cool to have this very easy, very straightforward for our clients to book. And as you can see, all of these scheduling links very similar to Calendly. And when you open up this in a tab so you can see what your audience is going to see when they actually click on the calendar, this is where they can select all of the dates. And just like Calendly, you can actually set up specific times. You can figure out, like if I go here to show you how to set up a new one, it's super easy to do all kinds of bookings. So you could do personal booking, like the one-on-one meetings. You could do round robin, meaning if you have team members, this can rotate order in terms of like who's going to get the sales call or an onboarding session. You can do collective booking where you have multiple hosts with one participant, or you could do a class booking. And this is where you could have like webinars and group trainings and online classes, that kind of thing. For us, we use a lot of the personal booking, and then you can name the calendar here. Super easy. This can be discovery calls, for example. Obviously, make sure that you're naming it something that makes sense for your business. You can set up the meeting duration, what days it's available, and block specific days in your schedule. For us, it's mostly on Fridays. And then set the time that you want to be available. For us, let's say it's going to be 11 to 4 p.m. And then from there, you can go in and decide if you're going to accept payments. If this is going to be a paid meeting, then boom, you can just put the amount right there, which is super awesome. There's also advanced settings here that you can explore later on. There we go. And we're going to click confirm. Awesome. So now we can preview the booking widget, and this is what it's going to look like to all of our peeps. And now you have a working calendar where you can send leads, you can have collaborations, host webinars, calls, all that good stuff. Now, we're launching a new business soon. This is kind of like a passion project for Chris's side of the company. It's called Russell Connect. It's going to be a SaaS platform, and we're using Go High Level to set up all of the basic structure, funnels, appointments, calendars, all of that good stuff. So I wanted to show you the contact section so you can actually start seeing what that looks like. All right, so here is the contact section. This is just demo data, so none of this is real, but I wanted to show you what this looks like. What's really cool about this section is you're really looking at so much data, so much information here on who your leads are, how they found you, what pages they're landing on, if you have a website inside of the platform. So many cool things that you can keep track of. In this case, it's a Facebook Messenger DM, and you can see this is how that contact actually arrived on our list. There's general information here. You can add a bunch of, more data. You can see what tags they have, the automation, if they're in a pipeline, communities and courses that they're a part of. If you need to DND all channels, meaning do not contact or do not disturb, you can absolutely set that up here so that you are not sending any communication to that particular contact at all. So this is super handy to kind of see everyone and everything in one place. You can also easily go here and add tags to individual contacts. Super simple and straightforward. You can also send them an SMS or send them an email directly. So that allows you to communicate with people both individually as well as through automations. So let's say, for example, you have a new lead and you are about to send a follow-up email after you're having a discovery call. This is a really easy place to actually just click on their contact, type in a quick message, or even better, add it from a saved snippet. And then you can easily just request a payment right then and there, which is super cool because that allows you to essentially create a mini invoice and get paid right away. So I know for our business, the CRM or the contacts feature is one of the most powerful ones because we have essentially a hybrid business where we sell courses and digital products and memberships, but we also sell services. There's a lot of touch points, especially on the service side of the business, where we are again like booking those bonuses, contacting customers about their renewals, processing upgrades. And so it's nice to see a history of all the things that a customer has purchased from us, or internal notes, or a track or a trail of all our communication with that client or customer, which is so essential if you run a service-based business or a hybrid business like we do. And then speaking of selling and having a service business or a hybrid business, I love their pipelines. This is one of the tools that we use a lot when it comes to keeping track of leads and processing, again, those upgrades or renewals for existing clients. And so here's an example of a pipeline for, let's say, our group coaching program. Once someone applies to the program, we can easily move them over as the stages progress, very much like basically a Trello board, which is super nice because you're moving from left to right as all of your leads kind of move into your sales process. And so if that person gets approved, then we move them over here to the approved tab. If they get rejected, we move them to the rejected tab, and then we send them a payment link, and finally they purchase. What is super nice about this is you can have that contact right here on this quote unquote card, very similar like Trello. And you can also see all of their data very quickly. So if you need to send them a quick email, it's right here. If you need to send them an SMS, if you need to message them directly on WhatsApp, which is not something we currently use, but is super nice for international. I love being able to just contact someone right then and update the opportunity. You can also have, their date of birth, the type of contact they are, if they're a lead or an existing customer. Tons of really helpful information as well here, just the same way that we just showed you the contacts. And then on this right hand side, you're going to see all their activities. So like if they submitted a form, if they have an appointment, if they scheduled a call, all of that activity will be tracked here so that you can easily access all of your leads and track them in one seamless place. All right, so now let's look at payments. And so this is going to be your dashboard for all invoices. If you send, whether it's like recurring subscriptions and you want to send a recurring invoice, or you're sending one-off project invoices for clients, this is a great place to do that. You'll see here there's my new invoice demo. And so you can have all the client's information. You can stylize it and customize it to make it look super cute. And then also you could just add the price, the product, and all of that is ready to go. Now, one of the things that I really like that a lot of tools don't always have, and if they do have it, it's usually not paired with marketing automation, which drives me nuts because then you have to have like a separate CRM and also a separate marketing tool, and it's intense. But what I really like is this ability to be able to send a invoice via email or via SMS. All right, so I'm going to move myself over here so you could see this button, but you can click here on resend. And what's going to happen is you're going to have this pop up where you can decide, hey, I want to email and text this contact, this invoice. I just want to email them, or I just want to text them. You can also do this from the app, which is super handy because you can actually send that invoice right on the go. You don't even need to be on your desktop. And that is super, super clutch, especially for those of you who sell in person or you're working with clients face to face. Now, the Invoices tab also allows you to set recurring invoices like I talked about. You have templates and estimates as well as contracts. So if you have contracts that require clients to actually sign like we do, this is a really cool tool because it allows you to do it all in one place. Now, you can also check out your orders here and your abandoned checkouts. So essentially, it's working like both, again, that CRM invoicey section as well as your traditional kind of checkout dashboard. And I love that because it gives you the ability to see everything in one place. Now, here's also some quick payment links in case you need to create something like that. And this is where you can just send this over via DM or via SMS if you're just setting up something like, hey, someone wants to buy your course, or someone wants to hire you for an audit, or something simple that doesn't require a full-blown invoice or a formal proposal or a contract. That's really helpful to have here. You also have your products, and this is where you can set up full-blown products. We have quite a few here in our demo community, and this is really neat from the standpoint that you can just have it all in one place. There's a ton of different settings. You can customize them and basically have ready to go products in this particular category, so that when you're setting up things like your checkout or your funnels, you can pull those products. There's coupons, there's a bunch of other integrations that you can explore later, but this kind of gives you an overview of where to find all the different categories and what features might resonate more depending on the type of business that you have. Now, this section is new, and it's AI agents. If you are not aware of what AI agents are, they're basically trainable bots that can do a lot of heavy lifting and a lot of work in your business. Now, in the application for high level, these are voice agents. So if you do a lot of calls or you have conversations, you can basically train an AI agent to do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. For me as a marketer, this is not something that I want to engage with. I think people want that human touch and human connection, but there is a place for AI agents. And I think that especially when it comes to marketing, coding, a lot of the behind the scenes design, they're really, really helpful. So this is something that we'll test out later on. It's not something we currently use, but it is helpful to kind of know that it's there. There's also a cool knowledge base. So if you need to have access to the knowledge base and actually create multiple knowledge bases for your business, whether it's because you have a membership like we do, or you want customers to be able to like self-guide or troubleshoot something in your business, you can also create it here. There's also content AI so that you can actually use AI inside of the platform. To be super transparent, I think this needs a lot of work. It's still in its infancy. There's better tools out there, including ChatGPT, that are way more advanced and can give you far better features. Same with Canva AI. I feel like this is still kind of like in baby stages, so we'll see how it develops, but it's not something I'm super excited about right now. However, the AI agent aspect of it is basically like an online employee, and it is pretty appealing. I think we will test this out and report back to you guys, but if you have used this already, let us know. It's kind of new, and they're basically offering it for free for the summer. After that, it's going to be an additional charge, it looks like. So full transparency, that is an add-on and something to be aware of. But it's kind of cool that High Level's already jumped on this huge trend right now in the online space. So moving on here, I want to show you one more thing, and that is the reporting section. So this is where you have all of your data kind of in one place for what's happening in your business. If you're running any kind of like ads, or you're doing appointment reports or audit reports, it's all in here. So this is an example. If you're running Google ads, you could see all of your campaigns in one place, open them up and look at your ads and kind of look at all of the data for how much, you're spending and what your return on ad spend is. If you're doing Facebook ads and you're plugging that in, you can also see the reports here, which is super, super nice, especially with how clunky the Facebook Manager can be. When it comes to reporting, it drives me absolutely crazy. And so then you can look at attribution report if you're doing calls, like how that's going, appointment report, audits. So all of that data is in one place, which is really handy when you're trying to figure out like, hey, what's driving revenue, what's working with my ads, what's not working, and all that good stuff. All right, fam, so that is an overview of High Level. We didn't have time to dive into any of the specific features. So if you want more deep dive tutorials on like the content planner or just the payments or the invoice section, let us know in the comments below. I'm happy to create those videos and kind of walk you through that whole process. Now, here's a summary of who I think Go High Level is for and who it's not for to help you make a decision easier. I think Go High Level is perfect if you're a coach, a consultant, a course creator, or a service provider, and you want an all-in-one tool. I am not a fan of all-in-one tools until I found this one because it is so versatile. It plugs in so seamlessly and plays with other tools so well, and it doesn't like trap you into their ecosystem without having options. I love being able to offer this as an option to our clients, and it's something that we're actively using in our business. So if you're someone who wants an all-in-one tool, this is absolutely perfect. If you're on the other side of things and you want something that is super powerful in terms of automation. You want to plug into a CRM that's easy to use. Maybe you want to use more of the lead generation options or the communication features like texting and calling. This is a really powerful tool that can plug into your existing ecosystem. So those are the two use cases that I highly recommend trying out High Level. Now, as much as I love Go High Level, it's definitely not for everyone. So let's talk about that. If you only have a single service or a single product that you're selling and you're not thinking about growing or scaling your business anytime soon, and there's like only one feature that you're going to use, it might not be the right tool for you. It's also probably not for you if you're not the kind of person who is willing to learn a new tool. You're going to probably try it, get overwhelmed, and not stick to it. Instead, I recommend either up-leveling your mindset and knowing that any tool is going to be a learning curve, giving it your best go, watching videos like this one so that you can actually get familiar, and then also making sure that you have an extended trial like the one that we're offering with our link so that you have at least 30 days to try out the tool, play with it, and see if it's the right fit for you. That said, if you're serious about creating a more automated, scalable business that actually grows as you grow, I highly recommend using High Level. And of course, our affiliate link is going to be below this video where you can actually get that extended 30-day trial, plus our free snapshot and our bonus pack full of awesome trainings from our group coaching program that'll help you go further faster. Once again, thank you to High Level for partnering with us on this video. And I'd love to hear what questions you have about the platform in the comments below, as well as what other videos would you like me to create in the future that really focus in on a particular feature so that we can walk you through the platform and all that it's capable of doing. Thank you so much for watching. I will leave a linked video on this one for you to check out next. And of course, I will see you in the next one. Un beso. Bye for now.